Okay, we're back. It's been a hot minute since I last made any kind of video. Here at Code Academy, we've taken deep delve into HTML, CSS, something that I thought I might be good at, but actually it turns out it's a complete nightmare. Turns out programming in my brain works real better, which is surprising to me because I didn't really think that would be the case. Anyway, so I'm going to teach you. I'm going to take you through some stuff that I've been doing today. It's not amazing, but it is like, I don't know, like some basic animation, playing with, it's all pure CSS and HTML. It's not mind-blowing, and I'm also asking for your feedback. So there is some problems in here, and I'm real interested to see what you people think about it, or if someone can like show me a pure CSS way to do this. I know there's JavaScript, I know there's frameworks out there that would make my life so much easier, but I'm not there yet. Anyway, before we get started, the music we're listening to today is the Balkan Gypsy Orchestra from Barcelona, who just stopped playing together, I believe. Great music. Not sure of good work music, but upbeat anyway. Anyway, so here we are. Spent most of the day just working on like a basic sort of like website. Before I get kind of into the code, might as well have a look at what I've done. So relatively responsive, hasn't been optimized for mobile, but it is optimized for relatively optimized for different size browsers, which I am into. And then just like super basic animation, you hover over and away it goes. Amazing. You would not believe how long it took me to get these stupid words to sit there. All the pixel art's done by me, obviously just a gradient background, and then we link in. Cool. And this is where I got to. So, as you can see, not super amazing. The idea is that it's supposed to be a portfolio site, and the part I got stuck on, and this is where I need your help, is basically I want to create a menu that as you hover over, it's going to like expand, and then it sticks, which is great, that's what I want. But if you hover over the other one, I want it to then collapse everything else, and I haven't quite got there yet. If you hover over all of them, it'll do this, it'll do that, and then we're back to the start, and they're kind of frozen. But if I reset this, and then go to this one, it collapses them like all the way out. So you can see that there's like quite a bit of space here. But if I go up again here, there's like less space, and even less movement this time, and even less movement on the last time. So if anyone knows how this works really easily with like CS transitions, I'll show you the code in a sec, but please like send me a message, leave heaps of comments, point me to the right Stack Exchange. I just cannot work it out. Anyway, I'll show the code. It was interesting, I think, that like I've been really struggling with HTML and CSS more than I thought I would. I thought I'd be like, oh yeah, this will be like a nice break from like Ruby headspace thing, but yeah, like I said before, like Ruby / programming is real straightforward. You tell the computer what to do, and if it doesn't understand it, it tells you so, and then you go and fix the problem. Whereas with CSS, it's just like 5 billion trillion different ways to do the same thing, and sometimes there's only one way to do the one thing, and you have to know it, and if you don't know it, no bueno. So let's look at the first one. This is like the title page. So, oops. Oh no, I've lost it. Here we go. There we go. All right, this is the title page. As you can see, the HTML on this side, super simple. If you look at the body here, page wrapper just holds the gradient. Title wrapper itself holds the title. I don't really know if that's necessary, to be honest. And then we've got a class or like a div that holds each of the images themselves. So it was an interesting like little thing to figure out how to get, like the thing that gets me about CSS is that when you do the tutorials, it's like super simple. You're like, oh yeah, boxes and boxes and boxes, and like absolutes and fixed and like flexbox, and it's great, and I set up a grid and this is amazing. But actually when you like come down to it, when you need to like position something flexibly, but you also want it to display relatively to somewhere, and you need that thing to sit on top of another thing so it's absolute, like that's when it gets really freaking hard. So I started here, like in the CSS on the right hand side here. Ooh, there it goes. Where's my cursor? There it is. I started trying to use Flexbox. I thought that would be the thing. No, it wasn't. I think in the end I basically used relative positioning. What have we got here? So relative positioning of the... Yeah, so I was fitting everything. I was making sure I fit the actual images, which is these ones here, so they wouldn't like go over the thing, making sure it's like the right height. And then I can't, and now I've even forgotten, like, why did I position those relatively? I know that if I change this to not relative, it will break very quickly. And this is CSS. Amazing. But yeah, it was interesting to figure out that, like, I think I needed them relative so I could move them, and then absolute so they would actually stack on top of one another. Whereas, like, when you do it relative to one another, they just end up like stacking on top of each other, which is not what you want. Anyway, the animation's super simple actually. Like, got the way I did it in the end. I think when I first started doing this animation, it was like you would have to, the moment you put your cursor onto the page, it would move. But I was like, no, that's not what I want. I want it to, like, if you move to the center of the page, I want it to move. So I ended up doing, this was an interesting learning little experience. I ended up doing, like, where are you? There's a little button div here. So this is inside the title wrapper, so more or less inside this entire page. And then it's just a button. It's got a link. There's a div inside of it, which I've defined the size of. And the link goes to my index HTML. So it was interesting, like, you putting an invisible block over it that it then influences the actual siblings, which was a funny little bit of CSS that I learned a lot about here. So when you do the button hover, which is this like div here, which I've created to be like kind of this strip, as you can see there, 33.33 view width, then it will do the thing. So when button hover, you're going to look for the sibling that has the class drifting, and then you're looking at image. I reckon this is probably like, this might be the answer I'm looking for my next thing that I'm going to show you, for my next trick. So yeah, splits part, disappears. The transitions and stuff, I think I was talking about that before and got completely sidetracked. When you hover, the margin bottom changes to 100, and then margin top for dev. So drifting is the top one, dev is the bottom one. Margin bottom turns to 100 view height to 0 of the actual image, so it like and squeezes, and the opacity fades out as well. And then with the enter image, that just sits there invisible, and then as it splits apart, it becomes slowly visible. Super, like, simple, but it just takes so long to get it to do the thing that you want. Anyway, yeah, so I've tried to do a relatively similar thing with the actual index. So we're not going to pay attention to this because that's irrelevant. Same kind of thing, like I've got a grid. So this time I used a grid. I was playing with some rails to like play with the design, as in like it's a 12-bar grid. I think like maybe 4 of those or 5 of those are the bar and the other one's the content. The idea is that when you like mouse over the bar, opens up, displays the content on the other side, and it stays that way unless you mouse over something else on the left side of the bar. Didn't quite get to the main part, but yeah, really interesting like way to fix that. And I think, just speaking to you all now in my brain, like what is happening is maybe that I need to be like resizing the actual, oh no, but I do have a div in here. Maybe I need to be resizing the div of the div. Because basically what I've been trying to do here, this is the last thing I did, was so like, in order to get it to stick, oh wait, this is the wrong styles. There we go. In order to get it to stick when it like transitions, it takes 2 seconds. So sidebar div, got your sidebar div here. Height 25%, 2-second transition, and a transition delay of 180 seconds. So when you hover over it, you would think that if you don't change anything, it takes 180 seconds before that moves. But when you hover, it changes the actual delay to 0, starts transitioning. When you take the cursor off, it starts that 180-second countdown. So if I like left this running for 180 seconds, it will shrink back down. So I thought, well, surely I can just say like, okay, when you can say this, right? And that should do that. But also when you hover over that, this is different. I did a little plus because I was playing with it, but with the tilde, surely that means the div here, like when I hover over, it will change the transition delay of all the other divs to 0. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. Like, as you can see in that little sidebar, like element class and then the divs below it. They're like sibling divs should change, but they don't. I don't know. So, I don't know. Maybe if someone knows the answer to this question, please tell me, because I've got no idea. Anyway, this has been fun. It's been like a fun little learning experience. And this will be, I'll like be working on this tomorrow, so maybe I'll do another video to update it and see what I find. See if I figure it out how to do it. Yeah. Any tips for CSS, please throw them my way. If people know like good tutorials on animation, done 0 Googling, so maybe I could start there. Anyway, that's all I got. Not exactly a lesson, but more of like this is what I'm doing, and this is like some simple animation that even like a peanut like me can do who is real bad at the CSS stuff. It is fun though. Oh, it's kind of changing actually. Or is it just, okay, this is, I think I might have just found the answer to my question. Oh well, tomorrow, this is tomorrow thinking.